What's a sign you're not attractive? Story 1. On your social media, your profile picture isn't a photo of yourself. Bonus points if it's a cartoon or anime character. Story 2. When every girl you're interested in tells you how sweet you are and that you'll make someone very happy someday. Story 3. When someone of the opposite sex hugs all your friends but gives you a fist bump. Story 4. When your grandma tells you how handsome you are and you have to remind her you're a girl. Story 5. When you post a photo on social media and all the comments are about how brave you are. Story 6. The only compliment you get is that you're funny. Story 7. When you lie behind your group of friends to tie your shoes or something, and everyone keeps walking, but if one of your attractive friends stops, the group waits for them. My life is sad. Story 8. I had really bad acne in high school. It sucked back then. But now I can laugh about how I looked like a lumpy tomato. Babies always cried, and I remember a lot of dogs barking at me. My dog prefers to play fetch alone. Story 9. I was 13 at a sleepover, and a kid my age, who I'd known for 20 minutes, looked me straight in the eyes and spontaneously said, "You're really ugly." I'm less ugly now, but it was true at the time. I'm a woman. Story 10. I went out to eat with a very beautiful friend. The waiter was so smitten with her that he took her order and forgot to ask me what I wanted. Story 11. I don't think I'm particularly unattractive, but I used to work with a woman who clearly thought I was. I remember once when the topic of ugly people came up, I was looking down, and she reached out, lifted my chin, looked me in the eyes, and said, "But we know what's on the inside is what counts." So, I guess my answer is when people insist on highlighting your personality and non-physical qualities. Story 12. Once, I was walking to my desk to grab something, and a girl was talking to one of her friends. She looked at me, said "ew" with a disgusted face, and looked away. That killed me a little inside. Story 13. When people say you look like a famous person, and that famous person isn't attractive. Story 14. I used to work with adults with intellectual disabilities. Once, one of the participants looked at my face in broad daylight, smiled sympathetically, touched my arm, and said, "You should wear makeup, you know, to be pretty." I felt bad for the rest of the week. Story 15. In high school, some guys approached me and a group of friends. There were 5 of us girls. They asked us to introduce ourselves, and we started. When it got to the girl next to me, with only me left to introduce, one guy said, "You can stop here, we just need their names." It shattered my self-confidence. Story 16. Several people send you the same poem about being beautiful on the inside. Yeah, that happened. That's an average sign, in my opinion. Story 17. If other people seem to spontaneously forget you exist the moment an attractive person enters the room, I'd say you're probably attractive enough to get attention normally, but not enough to compete with the obvious top choices. Invisibility. It's not really a superpower. It's more like a reminder that no one wants to see you. Story 18. I was in the car with my mom, and we heard a radio conversation about how unattractive people are more likely to find true love because anyone willing to be with them must not care about superficial things like looks or lust. Bonus points for being ugly. They won't cheat because no one wants to sleep with them. After hearing this, my mom told me I should be happy about this news. Story 19. I once had a group therapy session where we stood in a circle and had to say something we liked about each other's appearance. I don't remember the point of it. It was a long time ago. Anyway, everyone got their compliments, beautiful hair, great smile, etc. When it was my turn, Everyone stayed silent for a while until one of them said something like, "Sometimes you're kind of funny." After that, the therapist just told them to move on to the next person while looking at me sympathetically. That memory still haunts me. Story 20. When your brother's girlfriend offers to set you up with her ugly single friend, even though she has plenty of other attractive single friends. Story 21. I worked in the same office as a guy for 3 years. I considered him a friend, even though he was a bit shallow about appearances and talked about other attractive girls, despite having a fiancé. 2 weeks after I left the company, he left wedding invitations for everyone in the office, even people he didn't directly interact with, except for me, the fat, ugly girl. Everyone thought he forgot me by accident, but I knew it was because he didn't want me in the wedding photos. Everyone from the company went to the wedding and talked about it for weeks. They'd go quiet and change the subject when I mentioned I hadn't been invited. So yeah, they hadn't noticed I wasn't there. Story 22. When you're ugly, you're invisible and easily forgotten, even when you're no longer fat. You get used to this treatment over the years, but it still hurts. People don't take spontaneous or enthusiastic photos of you. Story 23. I have an acquaintance who's really handsome and photogenic. Most of his Facebook posts are of him doing these spontaneous photo shoots with his friends, where they do yoga poses, dance, goofy model poses, or just regular selfies, etc. People just want to take his picture. Another guy I know is also pretty handsome, like normal level attractive, and looking at his photos, people just take lots of random pictures of him being spontaneously silly and fun. For less attractive people, photo taking is more forced. You have to ask people to take your picture. They agree, but want to get it over with quickly. You won't have many pictures capturing spontaneous fun or silliness because you had to stop and ask someone to take your photo. It'll be a quick, "Hey, we're hanging out" selfie, but you probably won't look at the photo together afterward. Story 24. I noticed that more attractive, photogenic people not only have more photos, but people want to look at them and comment on how great they are. Story 25. When you realize your friends like hanging out with you because you make them look better by comparison. Story 26. When my friends and I went out, guys, boys, and men paid attention to us. My friends complained about being hit on and propositioned, while I didn't get any of that. It's a weird feeling when you realize you're not attractive. Story 27. I often feel like I'm a painting or a photograph in a gallery. People look, stare, and as they get closer, they decide I'm actually that weird, quirky little art project that was only hung among the beautiful artwork because there was a space to fill. Story 28. And thanks for watching the video, friends. Let's remember that this society is full of exaggerated beauty standards that affect us all. Let's be honest, even if we're not attractive, sometimes we boost the ego of the cute guy or girl, hoping we might have a chance with those kinds of people, when we ourselves sometimes encourage their indifferent behavior. If we're ugly, there's no way around it, but don't let that define you. You're handsome, you're beautiful, don't let anyone tell you otherwise, and if they do, tell them to go to hell.